Welcome to the IDP Hunter Podcast. I'm your host, IDP Hunter, Steve Hungarter. You can know me as the number 4 IDP ranker over at Fantasy Pros. I'm also a writer over at the RPO Network, as well as the Fantasy Six Pack. I'm joined tonight by Jamie Perog. He's also a writer over at Going for Two, as well as he has his own podcast. And he's also a writer over here at the Fantasy Six Pack. What's going on, Jamie? How you been?
Man, I love being here with you, talking football. It doesn't matter what we talk about. I just love our conversations, and it's going to be great content for people to listen to. Let's get it. Let's go.
You know what I wanted to do this one? Because we have just survived. I don't know how many drafts you've done. I've done about 9 or 10 rookie drafts right now. I'm trying to do some dynasty. I'm looking at bargains everywhere I can get. What says you? What have you been doing with rookies and in dynasties this year? How many drafts are you in right now, if you don't mind me asking?
I believe I just finished my 12th dynasty rookie draft. I'm in about 3 more right now. Just started another one today.
It's only May, my friend. You've already done 12?
That's about half of my leagues, man. I'm about 24, 25 dynasty leagues. So half of my leagues go right away. And the other half wait until later. I got one starting. I actually got about 3 starting next week. I got 3 more starting in 2 days. So it's all over the place.
Amazing. So what's cool about doing these startups and what's doing these rookies, I was kind of hoping we can combine veterans and rookies this podcast and just talk about some of the bargains we've seen in general, bargains. And I don't think any network right now has done an IDP dynasty bargain and an offensive dynasty bargain. So maybe we can combine them. Maybe you can do some offense. I can do some defense. But if we can put some bargains together, I think this can be a powerful show. I haven't seen it yet, a dynasty bargain podcast. You?
No, I have not. I know they talk about sleepers and this and that, but I've seen so many drafts in the past week. I know where people are going, and I know where the values are.
Right.
Made so many trades. I can't even tell you how many trades I made.
Well, let me kick this one off. Everyone's always looking for linebackers. They're good and plenty, their volume and stuff. There's a linebacker. I have him highly regarded as like an LB 15. Most people are drafting him as an LB 30, which makes no sense. I don't know why he doesn't get a lot of credit. I don't know if it's his name. I don't know what the deal is. But the linebacker that I like here as a bargain is Azeez Al-Shaair. Okay? He played –
probably because it's hard to pronounce.
I think so. I don't know. You know how people are out there. But I'm going to tell you we're going to go back 2 years on this guy, okay? Last year, he had 163 tackles. That was 5th in the league. He shouldn't be a sleeper anymore, but he's still going super late, right? He started all 17 games, okay? That's a steal if there ever was a steal, okay? But on top of that, man, he went last year. If you go back 2 years ago, he had he 25 years old, 26 years old. Mm-hmm. He had in 2021, he played 13 games, and he was slinging it then. Whenever this guy gets on the field, you're expecting good things. 2 years ago, he had 102 tackles. Last year, he had all of them tackles. He went on. I don't know why the Titans didn't re-sign him, but he went on, and now he's playing for the Texans. He's going to be their green dot guy in the middle, and he's playing for who's formerly of the 49ers where he was, and he knows how to use them. So again, however you say the name, I can't pronounce the damn name. It doesn't matter what his name is. This isn't a spelling bee. But Azeez Al-Shaair is a player to own because no one's paying attention to him. And to me, that's the definition of a bargain when you can get a guy so late in drafts.
So
what says you, Jamie?
I believe in your breakdowns because last year in the middle of the season, you told me to go ahead and pick up this one guy who I believe was a bargain, Boye Mafe. This guy ended up being like top 20 in solo tackles. Like he was top 20 in sacks, like top 10 in quarterback pressure. Like, look at every metric Boye Mafe had. He was in top 10 to top 20.
Oh, I remember. I turned you on to him, and he was on like a sack. He was getting a sack every single game. He was
on everyone's waiver wire. And this dude's metrics was like, bam, like you want his 40-yard dash, his speed score, his burst score. That's all up there at the 90th percentile plus. Do you remember Bud Dupree?
Sadly, when we talk bargains and we talk
he reminds me of the Bud Dupree.
Yeah.
So, dude, yeah.
Sadly though, Jamie, we're talking about bargains. When these guys are getting hyped, now all of a sudden they're not bargains anymore. So Boye Mafe, sadly, you're probably going to have to go up early to get him. So I'm kind of not spilling him as much, but I appreciate the fact that he helped you out last year, my friend.
Well, he was definitely a bargain last year when I picked him up off waiver wires for free.
Mm-hmm.
So listen to Steve when he's telling you to pick up Al-Shaair, because this guy's going to make a difference on your fantasy team.
And he's been around. That's what I don't get. I get why people are letting him sleep so long. But yeah, I have a lot of linebackers in here, linebackers and safeties, because that's kind of the way I hunt for them. And then I draft young, elite Joey Bosa, Jared Verse types. So that's kind of my strategy. But what do you do on offense? What do you look at for bargains over on your side of the field there?
See, what I like to do is vacated targets. So what I look as an offense is who left the offense, who's coming into the offense, what kind of player type are they? So one of my bargains is definitely a rookie coming into this league that everyone's sleeping on, and it's Roman Wilson. He's going to step into the Deontay Johnson
You're
role.
hitting hard with these rookies already. I'm interested.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Deontay Johnson left, and he's going to the Panthers, and he's going to get great targets at the Panthers. But who's going to take over that role on the Steelers? It's going to be that rookie they drafted pretty dang early, Roman Wilson, man. I could see him getting at least 6 targets a game. I see 6 to 7, honestly, because that's what Deontay had, and that put him at wide receiver 30. So you're getting a wide receiver 30 in the late second of your rookie drafts. How is that not a bargain?
When you think about that, that's an excellent bargain. A lot of people are letting him slide. And I don't understand. When you look at the landing spot, the Steelers have who there? They have George Pickens, which is a different profile player, yes. And they have there's nobody else there.
Van Jefferson, whipty dude.
He's going to start over Van Jefferson. I think that's a fluke right now because it's the offseason. There's no way Van Jefferson starts over this kid. No way.
No, this dude can separate like no other. He's a better version of Deontay Johnson. He's faster. He can separate better. He can do more with the ball in his hands. So go ahead and grab Roman Wilson at the end of your second round of rookie drafts, and you will not be disappointed. He's going to put up consistent wide receiver 3 numbers, and you're drafting him as your third flex, your second flex. Come on now.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Now I'll tell you something else. I wanted to go a little deeper on this episode, because I'm looking at ADPs and I'm like, people are forgetting about a lot of players, especially what they did last year, which makes no sense. That's why I kind of led with the linebacker, in the last one. I'm going to go. When they think of the Vikings, they're thinking of 3 other DBs. This guy here, he's a weapon. Flores uses him as a weapon. He puts him in the nickel sometimes. He puts him as a backer sometimes. He puts him all over the field. So he's not necessarily a safety. A lot of people think about him as, it's a crowded backfield. He's a third safety. He's not. He has his own role. If he gets interviewed by the press, they're like, what does Brian Flores have you do? Brian Flores, mind you, He's the most blitz-tastic defensive coordinator in the NFL right now. But they're like, what our head coach, hey, what does Brian Flores have you do right now? He goes, a little bit of everything. So this guy had 255 snaps last year in the box as an extra linebacker. We're not even talking about his safety role, okay? He finished second on the team as a DB. He's finished second on the team in tackles with 116. This is a DB we're talking about, right? He's tied for first with forced fumbles. He's for second in tackles for loss. So just get that crowded backfield out of your head. And it's not Bynum. It's not Harrison Smith. This guy here is Josh Metellus. You can get him way late in drafts. You might even get him as a free agent in dynasty leagues. Josh Metellus is my dude. You're getting him for nothing. And that's what a bargain is to me. You're getting this guy way cheap. You're getting him on a bargain. No one's paying attention to Josh Metellus, but they should be. They should be looking at stats. Should they not, Jamie?
They should, man. So going off of that, you remind me of a guy named Ryan Flournoy.
Okay.
Who's being undrafted in every single rookie draft that I've ever been in. Like I said,
that's a name I'm not familiar with.
Ryan Flournoy got drafted by the Dallas Cowboys as an unrestricted free agent. Oh, no, wait. My bad. He was drafted in the 6th round. And this guy has above average 40-yard. He has a above average speed score. He has above average burst score. His catch radius is above average. All right. Who else does the Cowboys really have? Nobody. Brandon Cooks. All right. Kind of old. So Flournoy could be put into that situation. Definitely it's going to get you some points if he can hit. But you're getting him for $1 off waivers. So if you're in a rookie draft, in the 4th round, and you don't know who to draft Ryan Flournoy.
That's a pretty good deep one, Jamie. I didn't even think of doing that. Like, holy cow, how's that for a name? You know what I mean?
Well, you remind me of him when you were talking about that floor guy. So I'm like, oh, floor. Like, what's his floor? I want to know what his ceiling is and what's his floor. So I kind of put it 2 to 2 together. This guy has a high floor, high ceiling. Like, I want Ryan Flournoy on every single one of my rosters in my taxi squad. And you're getting him for free. Like, literally, after every single one of my drafts, I haven't drafted him once in any of my drafts, but I'm going and I'm putting $5, $6 on them. No one else is even putting $1 on them. No one else put a bid in 12 drafts. Nobody put a bid on Ryan Flournoy. They don't know about this guy yet.
So here's another bargain basement linebacker that's probably not even being drafted, or it's later rounds. People are forgetting about David Long over there with the Dolphins. They're forgetting about him. Yep. Jerome Baker's long and gone. He went to Seattle.
Yep.
So they got Jerome Brooks, who's been injury prone, 26, about to be 27 years old. That's prime time. If anybody paid attention to my my article I wrote over here about the age cliffs of linebackers, he's right now in his peak. Okay, he didn't have the greatest season last year, but guess what? You can get this guy as an LB2, right? There's no one else there but Brooks. Okay, it's an up and coming team. Dolphins are going to be scoring, so he's going to be on the field. He's going to be logging snaps. But again, he's either not being drafted or he's being drafted on the likes of like Cody Barton's, those type of players. You can easily pick him up. A David Long. And what's cool about David Long, he actually has worn the green dot before, so it's not the first time. When he played with the Titans all those years, he had great statistical seasons, and he can carry the load if Jerome Baker goes down or forever the heck. But as an LB2, David Long, last year his season was up and down. They were trying to figure it out. They were trying to figure him out. But I think this year, the linebacker situation isn't as crowded as it once was. I think now it's clearly he's the LB2 chasing potential LB1 upside. And again, context matters. When you're looking at drafts, a late round, or maybe not even at all, if you're in a shallower league, the guy had one of those years that maybe people forget about him a little bit. But again, I mean, shoot, like pick him up late. It ain't gonna hurt you an LB2 with an LB1 potential upside who's been a green dot before. I mean, why not take the shot? What says you, Jamie? Do you like any of these guys that I'm mentioning, or better yet, do you have an offensive counterpart that maybe would go that deep with?
Yeah, I love everything you're putting down, 100%. I want to bring up another guy that everyone's sleeping on. It's a veteran guy, and this is Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp is being drafted so late. In underdog drafts, he's being depicted as like the 70, I would say like 70, 80th overall player in Dynasty.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say you're a contending team and you have the 112 and you want to win another championship and you have the 112. Would you rather have Keon Coleman, or would you rather go and trade Keon Coleman for Cooper Kupp? Go get Cooper Kupp. Yes, they have Puka Nacua who broke out, but do you really think Puka Nacua is going to retain that value and produce what he did in his rookie year? No, he's being Puka Nacua, I've seen as high as wide receiver 6 in Dynasty, which is ridiculous to me. I have him wide receiver 12, which is lower than normal. But Cooper Kupp is in that same offense, and he is a way, way better proven asset than Puka Nacua. So why not go get Cooper Kupp? Go throw your second-round draft pick for Cooper Kupp.
Get the guy you want there. I kind of like where you're going. I really enjoy what you just said. Mm-hmm. Yeah, why not? Why don't you? I'm going to stick with linebackers for my next one. And this is just, sometimes players get hurt and people forget about them. And that's kind of the bag on Shaq Thompson. People forget about Shaq Thompson. Not only have people forgotten about Shaq Thompson and what he's done previous, and they brought in replacements. They brought in, Josie Jewell. I'm not that impressed with him. He just got outplayed by Alex Singleton. And they brought in a younger kid, a rookie, Trevin Wallace, which I'll talk about in a minute. But again, a rookie and a journeyman, this is still the same guy. The Panthers just restructured his contract. So if you're playing in salary cap leagues, this is the guy for you. So it's a cheap linebacker who's done it before. He can totally outplay those guys. And he knows the position. He knows the field. He knows the team, if you will. So again, Shaq Thompson ain't going anywhere, guys. I'm seeing him get dropped everywhere. In a draft right now, somebody just dropped him. He's definitely not a top 50, 60 off the board. I have him ranked easily as LB 40, LB 50 range. That's a bargain right now. If somebody's going to throw him away, I'm not saying give up a second or third for him, but if somebody's going to throw him away, pick him up, scoop him up. That's an LB starter, 3-down starter, potential 100 tackle guy that no one's thinking about this time of year, who's done it before. So Shaq Thompson's my guy here. What says you?
Yeah, I actually have a Dynasty league where I have Shaq Thompson, and he was one of my lower guys. And I looked at him, and I'm like, should I drop him? And I thought about it. I'm like, heck no. I'm not dropping this guy.
Shallow leagues, I get it. But, I mean, again, when you look at the IDP landscape right now, a lot of teams are running nickels and safeties, right?
Yeah.
Hence, that's why we have Josh Metellus out of nowhere, right? So you're getting a lot more play out of DBs. So you can punt those jokers now. You're also getting more play with defensive linemen, more than ever because you're having those 4-man fronts. So you're getting a lot more DL 30s to 50s that you can play than like previous years. What you're not getting is linebackers. You're not seeing a lot of 3-down linebacker types right now. So in drafts, that's your oxygen, kind of like running backs were years ago. Get them. When you start running out of linebackers, you start looking at 15 linebackers in, you feel good, 20 linebackers in, feel good. Once you're outside that top 30 and you're biting your nails here, you're looking for guys. That's your guy right there, Shaq Thompson. Because, again, nobody's expecting anything. For the last pick or the last spot on your roster, why not take a Shaq Thompson? I'm looking at guys that had that IR tag that maybe other people forgot about and they threw away. So that's what I'm doing there with the Shaq Thompson pick. I'm glad you liked it. Jamie, you got an offensive one for us here for the bargains?
Oh, man, I got so many. I mean, how deep do you want me to go, Steve?
You can go as deep as you want. Talk veterans, talk anything that helps a dynasty out. This is dynasty season.
We're talking dynasty. So one guy that kind of comes to mind is Brian Robinson, because people look at Austin Eckler going to that offense and they're like, oh, well, Austin Eckler is the guy. Well, no, Austin Eckler is not the guy. Brian Robinson's he's going to get the first and second down carries. I can see Eckler. We all know how bad he was last year. He got traded. They wouldn't have let him go if he was really anything. Like, they replaced him with Vidal. Vidal's a late 6th-round pick in the rookie draft, right? And they brought in injury-prone guys. So the Chargers wouldn't have let Eckler go if he was really that great at his point, because he's 28. I don't know exactly how old he is, Steve, if you could look that up while I'm talking.
Okay.
But he's past that age apex. So you bring that guy in to an offense where Brian Robinson is coming off of a rookie year where he got shot in the leg, and he still came in and crushed it after being shot in the leg.
I was going to ask you that. Brian Robinson Jr., he's 25 right now, right? He's 25.
Yes, second year.
Are you okay with him as an RB2? Because I have an orphan and I have him.
I have him at the lower end of my RB2 rankings right now.
Even with Eckler hanging around there?
Because Eckler doesn't faze me with Brian Robinson.
Okay.
For the fact that, Eckler, I can see him coming in and getting 5 to 7 carries, right? So that leaves, 10 to 12 at least for Brian Robinson. Eckler is going to get 2 to 3 targets, maybe 4 targets. But after that in Dynasty, this is Eckler's last year in that offense. Brian Robinson's going to prove himself, and he's going to be able to catch passes out of the backfield, which he can if he needs to. He's going to run on first and second down, and he can play third down. So I don't understand why Brian Robinson is going so low in drafts. I just took him in a best ball league today on Underdog in one of the puppy drafts in the 10th round. 10th round of a puppy draft. And Eckler went 2 picks before him.
Really?
And I'm like, why? Why would Eckler go before Brian Robinson in a redraft best ball league? It doesn't make sense. In dynasty leagues, this just doesn't make sense because Brian Robinson was an awesome prospect. He fell because he got shot, but then he came back into the league 2 weeks after he got shot, and he proved that he can still run the damn ball. That's what you want to do. You want to run the damn ball.
Right.
He can get those touchdowns. So instead of getting the 8 to 9 points that Eckler can get you at a ceiling, I want Robinson's touchdown potential, getting those 12 to 15 carries plus the touchdowns. Give me Brian Robinson over Eckler all day.
You know what's interesting about this year is ADP's all over the place, and look no different than in IDP. IDP is the worst this time of year. And I'm going to give you my next player, right? He's a DB. His ADP is buried, and I know it. I just wanted to pull up on screen. I just did an expert draft, okay? This guy here was a top 10 safety, okay? He went in the 30th round.
What?
0.10 in an expert draft, okay? Does that sound crazy? I'm going to tell you who went ahead of him. And I'm going to tell you, without revealing the player, he had 113 tackles, 79 were solos. Okay, so this is a safety we're talking about. This is who went ahead of him, and I was trying to justify the point, and I knew I was right. The ADP's buried. Sleeper's a mess at this time of year, which is fine. Benefit. If the audience at home is listening to this, please benefit. Take advantage of ADP, especially on the defensive side of the ball. But the players that went ahead of this guy were James Fitzpatrick, rightfully so. Sauce Gardner, that's a whole different take. I don't even want to get into at this moment. Fitzpatrick's in there. I said Petrie. Snead went ahead of him. Certain went ahead of him. Winfield should have went before all of them, but that's 7 deep, right? Witherspoon, Baker, Hunga, 8, 9, 10 we're at. Woolen, 11. Branch at 12. Love, Brisker, Gonzalez, Holland, Bates. Now, Dax Hill, audience, I would fade Dax Hill. He has been playing cornerback for a while. Put it here first. Duggar and Chin. So this is 15 DBs deep we are, right? McKinney, 16. Battle, 17. Gardner, 18. McCreary shouldn't have been picked. That's not an expert pick. Wilson, Diggs. We're still going, right? Hobbs, Curls, Siskel, Grant, Delper. I lost count. Simmons. What are we at? 25, 26. Yeah. We're still going. McDuffie, Biden. Why is this guy?
It doesn't make sense.
Oh, and he has done nothing but help the Eagles. And you know what? He's the defensive back, just like Metellus, that gets forgotten about. People talk about Sidney Brown because they're all about rookies this year. People talk about Byard, who's no longer there. We're talking about Reed Blankenship, who is going off the board as a DB 30, which he was DB top 10 in tackle-heavy leagues, mind you. Reed Blankenship with 13 tackles last year. Please pick him up. Pick him up deep. If that's not a bargain, I don't know what the heck else is.
It doesn't make sense. You've named so many people in that list. I've heard so many cornerbacks that should not have been taken above Blankenship. It doesn't make sense.
It's all about know your scoring. If you're in
a just the value. Go ahead and make sure you get your make sure you grab your safeties over your cornerbacks. That's what you want to go for. Just because Sauce Gardner has that name, don't draft him over guys that's going to get you like so many tackles and breakups and interceptions. I don't get it.
And in Reed Blankenship's case, he just re-signed. He restructured a 1-year deal. Those prove-it deals, those guys just want to play a lot more better. So, I struggle with this one. He's definitely a bargain. He's definitely a bargain to redraft. He may not be in a dynasty. Maybe eventually he gets replaced. But for right now, you can get that guy late. And what does that mean? Go ahead and load up on defensive lineman and linebacker like you're supposed to. Get these guys later on. Or even running back, wide receiver, if you will. Jamie, you got any? I know you're saying a lot of wide receivers out there. You got a good running back, you just said.
Nope. I want to talk about one more wide receiver first.
Okay. What else you got?
This is going to go off of my last guy that I told you, Brian Robinson.
Okay.
One guy that everyone's sleeping on in the same offense, and Washington Commanders or the football team, whatever you want to call them. Terry McLaurin, bro. Why is everyone sleeping on Terry McLaurin? The dude's elite.
Every year this is.
He's been in the league for 5 years.
It feels like every year, man.
He's had 130 targets every single year that he's been in the league since his rookie year. He's had over 1,000 yards every single year since he's been in the league. He's had like 5 touchdowns every year since he's been in the league. Why is he falling so far? Not even in best ball, but like if you're a contending team, go grab him for cheap because nobody wants Terry McLaurin on a fantasy football dynasty.
They never do, and it makes no sense to me.
It doesn't, dude. So fast. Dude runs like a 4.3.5. His speed score is amazing. His burst, like his catch radius is decent. I don't understand. Like, do you remember Santana Moss back in the day?
Yep, I do.
Yeah, that's Terry freaking McLaurin right there. And Santana Moss had some great years when he was at his age 28, 29 years old. Like, yeah, Terry McLaurin, it seems like he's so old right now because like he's going on 29, but he's only been in the year for 5 years, right?
Yeah,
he came out as an older prospect from.
He's been punched for years. That's an excellent year.
Like go get McLaurin. Go spend a mid-second, late second. I don't care what you spend on him. Just go get him. I think he's gonna be.
I don't even think you need to do that. Like I used to pick him up in the 4th.
Yeah, like honestly,
I'm gonna move on to some rookies.
Oh, you want to move on to rookies? Let's go.
Yeah, I'm gonna move on to rookies I want to talk about, and me and you share the same interest in this one player, and I kind of like talking it. Then I like to reveal who I'm gonna say, so it's kind of a little funnier this way. This guy here was a linebacker out of North Carolina. Okay. He's a top 5 linebacker to me, but all the other ones, let's face it, the Coopers, the Colstons, the Wilsons, they get all the attention. This guy doesn't. He went to the combine. He tested okay. Vertical was 35.5, 10-foot broad jump. He ran 4.64. What's interesting about him for me is 2 points, and I'm going to give it to you because you know this player well. This guy here had 2 seasons. He had 200 tackles in 2 seasons. So he's one of the few linebackers that's very consistent like that. His landing spot, the guy's name is Cedrick Gray. His landing spot, he went to the Titans, which they rotate players all the way out. Cedrick Gray is a sneaky one if you're playing the last man standing in drafts. I'm punting a little bit linebacker. A lot of my peers are not. But I'll let everybody else take those other guys, and I'll stay back, and I'll come up and get Gray. Jamie, question for you. In our expert draft, you had so much scouting on Gray, and I had to cut it out of the episode. I had to cut it out because I had so much other good stuff I had to put in there, and I was trying to make it quick. But what were some of your scout notes on Gray? What did you see that a lot of people forgot about? What says you about Cedrick Gray?
I mean, he's a value. People are overlooking him. He's in that gray area.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where he could either be down here in black or up here in the white. And I think he's going to go up here in the white compared to the gray area that he's in.
I mean, think about it. Where he landed, I mean, all he's got to do is beat Kenneth Murray, and that's been done before, you know?
Yep. Yeah. Definitely a great prospect. I'm targeting him in my rookie IDP drafts, depending on who else is available, obviously. But I like him as a prospect, as a linebacker.
You did such great write-ups on him, and I had to leave some of it out. So I want to apologize. I had to leave a lot of it out before we actually aired that episode because I'm like, man, I can't do paragraphs on Cedrick Gray because a lot of people don't really know who that is. But it's been somebody you and I both have been targeting this whole entire offseason because he's cheap. Everyone else is taking him super.
Yeah, like definitely taking him later than he should be going.
Good question. I'm not as high with some of those landing spots than others. With linebacker, to be honest, it's less about talent. It's more about oxygen. It's more about the landing spot. It's more about where, you can get the 3-down roll. Linebacker, it's a bit of a learning curve. See Jack Campbell. It takes these guys a little bit long.
Yeah, it does definitely take some longer at linebacker.
Judge, that first year or two with a linebacker. I'm okay with it either way, but I'm going Cedrick Gray as a great bargain for people. What says you? Do you got anything else that you wanted to say?
So there's another guy that I wanted to bring up that's definitely a bargain in rookie drafts, a bargain in underdog best ball drafts that you're getting so late. And it's funny that you brought up the defense because this guy used to play defense at Ohio State. OHIO.
I know where you're going.
This dude played 5 years at Ohio State, but his first couple years he played defense. And now he plays tight end.
Can I interrupt? Is he a tight end?
Yes.
I know who you're going with. I love it. Go ahead.
Dude played tight end, and we love our athletic, versatile tight ends that can play all over the field. Cade Stover. Let me just say about Cade Stover. He played basketball. He played defensive lineman. Like, this dude got skills. So he understands the athleticism part of it. And he moved to tight end. And we're not even targeting him in drafts. But the fun part about it is he got drafted by the same team that his college quarterback went to. So we have a connection between Cade Stover and CJ Stroud. Did you think about that?
I didn't think of that. Yeah,
you didn't think about that, did you? Cade Stover also played basketball. He has a basketball background. We all love basketball background tight ends, just like Antonio Gates, another Ohio guy at Kent State, played basketball, and he was a top 5 tight end for years. So you got a basketball guy in Cade Stover playing tight end. Like, this guy's got hands. He has got body control. He's got the contested catches. He can be physical. You can get him the ball, and he can get those yards after the catch. He needs to work on route running. That's his one downfall. But you know what? That's one thing you can learn in the NFL.
For my audience at home, for my audience on Spotify, for my audience on YouTube that's listening to Jamie talk about this player here, it's funny because we were guests on the RPO network, and we were doing a show the other day as a Dynasty, whatever. And we were doing the top 50. You guys want to check it out? We're on RPO as well. It's really neat. They do rankings and stuff all season. But and it's free right now, the rookie dynasties and content. But what's funny about Jamie, what he's talking about right now, and I don't mean to interrupt you, he wanted to go to town. You were talking a good couple minutes about Ben Sinnott, and I'm like, dude, cut it. I promise you, we'll bring it over here. We'll talk about him as a bargain. So I kind of knew you were going here, but this is the time to talk about Mr. Ben Sinnott. Like I said, sky's the limit. We both have him as our tight end too now, right?
No. I was talking about Cade Stover.
Oh, Stover. I'm sorry, not Stover, but it's Stover. Where do you have? Where do you see him as a? Where do you see Stover
in dynasty leagues? He is being undrafted in a 4-round, 12-team super flex dynasty league, undrafted.
Mm-hmm.
So what I did is I went and I put like 30, $40 on them. It depends on how much fab you have. You're getting him for free.
Right.
So technically he's a 4th round pick in your dynasty leagues that should be put on your off the waiver wire onto your taxi squad. And you're only paying what, $30-$40. You could probably get them for $1.
I love it.
No one else is. I'm gonna pull it up right now.
While you're doing that, I was just gonna say, me and Jamie were talking about this offline. Everybody loves the quarterbacks. Everyone loves the wide receivers this draft class. Everyone's talking about that generational tight end Bowers. But what they don't know is this draft class, if you consider Sonat, which I do, and then right after that, you got Stover, right?
Yep.
You got a really good tight end class. Don't we have a good tight end class here? We got a really good one.
So but it's athletic.
These 5 or 6 tight end is going to fall on waivers, to your point.
Exactly. So you're only getting like 2 or 3 tight ends drafted in your rookie class. But the funny thing is people are taking that tight end from Bengals. Oh
yeah. Guilty. Yeah.
Unless you get points per block, why are you taking all? It doesn't make sense. So what I like to do is I like to take these
after Stover, you had another guy in that window.
Yes, Theo Johnson. Theo Johnson's another guy. This dude is 6'6", 260. He is a 4-star crew, the best Canadian tight end in NFL history. He was a team captain at his senior year. He only had 34 receptions, but 7 touchdowns. He has a massive frame. He wins at the catch point. He's got good blocking technique.
There it is.
Cade Stover does not. He needs to work on his blocking technique.
And that was
Theo Johnson has great blocking technique, which gives him the opportunity.
And then also, Jamie, Darren Waller may be retiring, so there's an opportunity there for Theo. And let me ask you this: where are we seeing Theo?
You're saying Theo Johnson.
I know the answer. I'm being
undrafted.
Undrafted.
At the latest,
that is the definition.
At the latest, I've seen him at the 407, or at the earliest. I'm sorry, at the earliest 407, 408 maybe. But you're only going to 412, right? So people are taking Wiley over him. People are taking just random people. But then Theo Johnson falls to your waiver wire, and you're just getting him for free. And this guy has such a high ceiling that in the 4th round of rookie drafts, that is such a plus that you want, that I would target him at the beginning of the 4th round. If Dylan Laube was gone, I would take Theo Johnson. I don't care who else is there. I would take Theo Johnson.
Stover.
I would just put him on my Texas.
Yeah, just put him in there, see what happens. And you know what? Tight ends nowadays are developing quicker more than ever, right?
Well, so they also take longer to develop. So like that's why you put them on your Texas squad for a year or 2. So
it used to be when I first started playing 5 years. You got to let those guys in. Now they're popping in 2-3 years. So that's a perfect stash. Question for you. I'm going to go back to linebacker again because I figure you can get good and plenty at linebacker. And I know I said Shaq Thompson early on, but I want to stick with the rookies. There's this kid, Trevin Wallace, out of Kentucky. He was a sleeper of mine. I was interested in his combine. He landed in the Panthers, and you know that's wide open right now. At the combine, he had a 4.5 140 time, 37.5 vertical, 10.7 broad jump. All of those were top 3 out of all the linebackers. So statistically, he was getting it done. I really like Trevin Wallace. I got him as my LB6. Some people are going higher. It depends on who you know. But he's 21 years old. He has that He's great about diagnosing plays. He's got that athleticism. He's great against the run and the pass. The only issue he got is the people in front of him. Shaq Thompson is rumored, he's recovering from that ankle injury, that's why he's a bargain, because he was so punted so long. But there's nobody else there. Jose Jewell joined the team, but Frankie Lavue's gone. And here's a little trivia I put on Twitter a little bit ago. Louvu left, and so did a lot of players. Brian Burns, Yato Gross, Mato. That was 71% of that team's pass rushing total. So I'm not saying Wallace is going to be the superstar next level, but if you're punting linebackers, as I said, you can get guys like him and Gray in that small window. So, there's a bargain there. I have seen him go undrafted in some drafts. I've seen him go late rounds in others. So Trevin Wallace is a guy you can keep an eye on. What says you, Jamie? Do you have anybody else that you're thinking about?
Man, I can go days and days on this. Like I mentioned, Dylan Laube.
Yeah, that's a good one, though.
I love this guy. This guy can play in the slot. He could play out of the backfield. He had a game where he had 295 yards in one game out of the passing. Who is he fighting for targets with? Alexander Battison?
Did you see him at the Senior Bowl? Just schooling.
I seen a lot of him, and I want all of him on my rookie rosters. Like,
that's a good one, man.
I love
all-time.
Him, dude.
I mean, yards of scrimmage, the nation in scrimmage yards. I mean, why not? Why not take a shot at him? And he's virtually cheap, and there's players over him that
not virtually cheap. He is
like the profiles. I like the profile in Laube as well.
People like, if I miss out on Vidal is a great pick. Another guy you need to keep an eye on.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to the Chargers in a great situation. But if you miss out on Vidal, go for Laube. I'm telling you, I'm planting my flag on this guy. I drafted him in multiple leagues this year so far. Fourth round. Like, I even missed out on him because he was sniped for me. And I offered my fourth round pick, which was like a pick or two later, plus like $40 fab. And I'm like, here's $40. Take the next.
You play like I do with the fab. I'll dump it all and I'll get a free player. I don't really care about, there's people out there do the math, and so I don't care. I'm going to get me a free player because you're trying to be frugal.
No, he's going to catch tons of passes out of the backfield. He can play out of the slot.
Landing spot's excellent.
Like, the comparisons just to everyone in that backfield that doesn't even compare. Even he was a 6th-round pick or something like that in the NFL draft. He's got no competition.
Right.
It doesn't make sense to me why he's going so late. I've actually compared him to Austin Eckler. Bam. And Danny Woodhead. Bam. So imagine, like I said, Vidal. Remember Vidal landed on that Chargers backfield?
Yep.
Guys I just mentioned was on the Chargers backfield. Vidal hopefully will become one of those guys because I like him over Laube, but Laube is a comparison to Austin Eckler and Danny Woodhead in my eyes.
Heck yeah. Opportunity is everything. Landing spots is everything. And you know what I'm thinking? This is a great transition to my final. I don't have a player for this final one. I have a category. I want to stay on rookies.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about defensive backs. Because when I'm looking for bargains, I'm really looking at linebackers because those guys are volume plays. And I'm looking for DBs. I'm looking for people that I think are going to get snaps, at least 90 to 100% snaps. I'm looking for 3-down players. I'm looking for rolls. I'm looking for tackles. That's what I want. Those are what I want for that position. DL, I'm a little more exclusive with. I get that position a lot more than I do the other two. But defensive back, I'm looking at this rookie class. Once Tyler Nubin goes off the board, okay? Once he goes off the board, he's the clear-cut DB1. Yeah. There's going to be a run in these IDP drafts or even these balanced And just like your sentiment with tight ends, there's 5 or 6 guys in this draft bubble, in this window. 3 or 4 of these names I'm about to mention are probably going to be free agents for you, okay? They're going to be great bargains. So let's begin. We got Nubin off the board. Once Nubin goes off the board, and me and you both, we've done these expert drafts with guys, right? You got players like Arnold the Lions, excellent landing spot. You got guys like Cooper DeJean of the Eagles. He's going to play nickel. Excellent landing spot. You got Hicks with the Chiefs. That's a very good, excellent spot. Cole Bishop of the Bills. Sound the alarms right now if that's not a sleeper I ever heard. He's going to the Bills where they got rid of Poyer. Come on now.
People are ignoring Bishop, man.
Yes.
I wrote him up in our.
You know who else they're ignoring, Jamie? They're ignoring Javon Buller of the Packers.
Yes,
and we can go all the way down to Kitchens.
Yes.
So just to recap what I just said, the DB2, whoever you think it is, Arnold, DeJean, Hicks, Bishop, Buller, Kitchen. In a regular draft, 3 or 4 of those guys are going to fall. That's who you go to waivers and pick up. In smart leagues, I'm picking them all up, man, and I'll hold them this offseason, and I'll see who develops and who doesn't. But, yeah, to your point, we can punt DBs all day long. What says you about any of those players?
Man, like if you go on the Fantasy Six-Pack, you'll see my write-up. I wrote up 10 players. You mentioned a lot of them. And honestly,
they got their money's worth this podcast, I'll tell you.
Yeah. So go ahead. I don't want to go into deep because we're going to have to go 40 minutes more. So instead of going 40 minutes talking about it, just go read that 5-minute article I wrote up on DBs on Fantasy Six-Pack. You'll see everything that we have. Again, like Kool-Aid McKinney.
Like, that too. Another one.
Another guy. Yeah. So
Philly left him off. See, to your point.
Yeah. Go to Fantasy Six-Pack. You got Steve's
all of those guys are excellent landing spots. Maybe Buller to Packers. He's maybe the DB2, but all those guys are going to be the lead dog back there. Every single one.
Yep. So hey, one guy. So you mentioned in your last segment about the guys. I want to mention one guy that can be an elite offensive weapon that no one is even looking at. And you can get him in the late 3rd rounds of your rookie draft, and this guy can be a value as an alpha receiver in his offense. And this is a guy I've been targeting in every single one of my rookie drafts in the 3rd round. And that's Javon Baker paired with Drake May.
Yeah.
You don't want to leave a draft without him in the 3rd round. Trust me. Like, I believe he's one of the most underrated rookie wide receivers in this class. Like, despite that he's the 2nd wide receiver off the board on the Patriots draft this year, I don't believe in Polk. I don't. I will fade Polk. I actually have Baker above Polk, even though Polk was the 1st rounder. Like, what are we doing, guys? This dude's 6'1", 210. He's got the size. He's got the speed. He's going to succeed in this offense on the outside.
So this podcast, and thanks for joining me, Jamie, I kind of wanted to put it together because we've seen so many drafts. We've seen so many bargains. Plus, we did a lot of write-ups, and we've done an expert draft. We're over at RPO Network, so check out our videos over at RPO Network as well. But there were so many things we had to cut short. So hopefully we got it all off our chest. Hopefully you're able to put some of your profiles in there. Jamie, final thoughts, closing thoughts. Do you have any other players you want to get off your chest? And then last but not least, tell the audience where they could find you.
Yeah, dude, just draft for value, not for need. If you need a player and you see a value, just trade back. Other than that, do what you do. Follow us at IDP Hunter. At Jamie Perog.
Where can they find you, Jamie?
And I'm all over the place, dude. I'm in every single chat. You can find me at Jamie Perog on Twitter. You can find me at Jamie Perog on Facebook. I run multiple Facebook groups, largest ones in the community. Fantasy football discussion, FFD Dynasty Dominance. If you're in a dynasty, just come and follow me and Steve over here at the IDP Hunting Ground.
And check out Jamie over at the FFD Dominator as well, and Fancy Six Pack.
Oh,
and
I also do stuff for the Going for Two. The Going for Two is my main network. I do the Fancy Cheat Sheet. Every Tuesday, we're going to give you cheats of the week. I do start sits on Sunday morning. Everything, man.
And last but not least, the Going for Two Live. We'll be back next week. We'll be putting together some more shows for you. And hopefully, Jamie, we'll have some new content available for the audience. We'll check it out. We'll see you guys later. Have a great day.